want an audience.
Hey, you guys.
Audience.
Michael, can you guys come over here real quick?
I got to talk to somebody.
Yeah, he needs a person to talk to.
Okay, because I'm gonna like.
And can you come over here so he's talking back?
Oh yeah, I'm happy to be.
You want me to look this way?
If you can look toward him and just talk to him.
I'm happy to be the invisible, the off-camera.
Say
guy.
when. Just give me a 3, 2, 1.
Okay. And I don't know. Do you want us to give you a prompt or a question?
No, I know what I'm gonna say.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, action.
Action. Well, here we are, which to the outside observer looks like a gigantic waste of money. Most people would say, why are you recreating the equivalent of a marsh when we had some beautiful grass here? The answer is because the way it was in nature is you had fresh water meeting salt water. Why is that important? Because these beautiful people here have restored a natural habitat which will invite back all of the diversity in animals, particularly whether they be a butterfly or a pelican or a tern coming back here to feed. And the fact is, the mixing of freshwater streams with a salty bay is sometimes called an estuary on a larger scale. And on a real large scale, you may know it as the Mekong Delta in Vietnam, for example. That's a giant estuary, which supported phenomenal amounts of life for the inhabitants, the human inhabitants who moved in there. Because before the advent of civilization, the early humans who lived in these areas where the salt met the fresh water became a focal point for human habitation, thus San Francisco, Boston, New York Harbor, New Orleans, Mekong Delta. Bangladesh is one gigantic estuary, for example. So this is a smaller version of salt meeting fresh. Why is that important? It creates a very diverse mixture of biological organisms. And as a matter of fact, why is that important to us? Let me make it very simple. We are the eagle. Now, what do I mean by we are the eagle? Many years ago, there was a book written called The Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. It shook the world up. And it was about, we're going to wake up one day and there's going to be no birds chirping because they'd be dead from DDT. People came to understand that what we put there winds up inside the bird. And then we found out years later that the eagle couldn't hatch eggs. The shells were too thin. It was discovered by scientists that it was the DDT in the groundwater or in the animals or organisms that the eagle was eating. So when we eliminated DDT, the eagle was able to hatch eggs again. So what is my point? What the hell does the eagle have to do with all of us? We are the eagle. We soon learned, years later, that many cancers and other environmental related illnesses are caused by toxic chemicals. So when I say we are the eagle, whether we're putting in a little piece of salt marsh here or salt marsh there, or these wonderful people spent 20 years recreating what was natural here, what they're doing is taking one small step to restoring civilization as it was, because we are all part of this giant ecosystem. And I want to congratulate these people for devoting so much of their lives to what an outside observer would think is nothing. But this nothing is something. Thank you for having me here.